Hello, and welcome back to the Book Marketing Tips and Author Success Podcast. This is Penny Sansevieri and Amy Cornell, and today we are talking about indie bookstores, not just about the store, but how to get into the store, how to work with these independent bookstores, because we love independent books. I mean, we love all bookstores, but we really love independent bookstores. So, and I think that, there are a couple of sites out there like bookshop.org and indiebound.org where authors can get their books listed. But part of the reason why we wanted to do this podcast is because there's so much more that you can do with independent bookstores.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, these are our local bookstore. I mean, one in particular, I would say, okay, see, now I'm already excited and everybody's like, she can't get a single thought out. So one, I would say, let me preface this by saying, if you're not following your local bookstores on social media, follow them. If you're not on social media, a lot of them do have newsletters and things like that. So sign up for that. Get to know them in what they do, because I know when we talk about local, I think sometimes, Penny, if people aren't really involved with their local retail stores, they probably think they make it sound so easy, but that's not the case here. It's like you might be pleasantly surprised if you actually kind of get a little more intimately involved with these places. One of our local bookstores does so much in the community just for special events. They get involved in every single holiday and do special. They do, oh my gosh, for Valentine's Day, you can book a dedicated time slot in the bookstore to do like a romantic dinner with your partner or your girlfriends and have it catered in. Yes, it's so cool. They do so many fun things. There's so many things to get involved in. And usually a lot of them are in really cool parts of town for the most part, very walkable areas. So they get a lot more foot traffic than I think a lot of people give them credit for too. It's easy to forget how much of an impulse experience bookstores can be too, which is why they're so fun and why, you know what I mean? They usually kind of hold a special place for a lot of people, is that it's such a, you know what I mean? It's such a whimsical experience. Another one nearby that is opening up, I'm like counting down the days, is they're specifically going to be a bookstore and wine shop. So you can go and do a wine tasting and they have books for sale. They're going to do book club meetings there. I'm like, well, this is just brilliant. Like,
oh my gosh, that's a great idea. And that's the fun part about these independent bookstores, because they're not tied to kind of a corporate mantra. So they can do these, they can get really creative, they can do these things. So yeah, that's a great idea. And you follow them on social. They probably all have Instagram accounts. Definitely want to follow them. Now, the whole objective of this podcast, this particular episode, is not just to be alerted as to what's going on with what your bookstore is doing, but also to get your book into stores, getting to know your local bookstores, getting your book into stores, and potentially doing an event. So the first thing that you really need to have is you need to have a press kit, an author one sheet, a book one sheet, information put together in a single sheet about your book that presents you in a really professional manner. And Amy, you've worked with a lot of, I don't know if you've done a lot of book one sheets because they're usually done by another staffer, but you've had a lot of input into these.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I get to see them because I work, one-on-one with all of our clients. So when these come through, I always snoop, when it comes out through an email that the one sheet's ready, or the book one sheet or the author one sheet or their press kit's ready. I'm always like, ooh, exciting. And I always go and look, and it really is such a big deal. And I can't tell you how often we have clients ask us for materials like this, Penny, that didn't include it with their original contract. And it may not be something that they were planning on, but it's always cool when they ask, because it means good things are happening for them. They're like, I'm talking to this, this local retail shop, and I might be doing an event. Can you make this for me? Or, you know what I mean? I talked to my librarian. Can you make this for me? Because they have some things coming. Like, it's always for really good reasons, or because they've gotten a book request from a media outlet or an influencer or something like that. And they're like, I need to have my stuff, my media stuff ready. And so it's always really exciting when we get a request for one of them because it's always means good things, but it's something that you should always have in your arsenal and ready to go, both in digital and printed out on really good paper. Like
Yeah.
don't be cheap on the printouts
Yeah.
with these.
Yeah, exactly. And we love them. We create them for our authors just because there are so many different uses for them. So I think the next point of this, Amy, do you want to take the next point? Because I don't want to,